Hello and welcome back to Learn Piano Live. So glad you're with us, which is probably what I'm supposed to say. But also, I actually really am glad that you're with us, and I'm really excited to be sharing with you what we're going to be doing tonight, which is playing the chords of all the songs that you hear on the radio, or as the title says, playing along with a band. When you just sit down with the band and you're at the piano, they're all playing, and you don't have any music in front of you, and you need to just be able to tell what it is that they're doing, then that's what we're going to be doing tonight. So that's very exciting. It's kind of a follow-up of last week's lesson, which was picking out the melodies of the songs that you're hearing. So this is not doing the melodies, but just like being able to play the chords and stuff like you would do if you were in a band and there's a vocalist or a guitarist playing a solo or something like that. So that's what we're doing tonight. But I want to remind you over at Mike'sLessons.com, he's teaching lessons at 6 o'clock from 6 to about 6:30, and he's doing a great job on Mondays, on Tuesdays, and on Wednesdays. Just like here, Mondays are beginners, Tuesdays are intermediate, and Wednesdays advanced. So he's got some great lessons. Go check that stuff out before you come over here, and let's get started. So all these concepts that we're working on right now with pop songs, they're not really beginner topics. So we're gonna take the beginner version of this topic, which is just hearing songs and playing them, which of course is not a beginner thing that you can do. But even if you don't know anything about music, you can hopefully kind of grasp some of the concepts that we're talking about tonight. And then there'll be other topics, other weeks where even though it's like a really simple topic, we're going to try to break that up and do some advanced stuff with it too. So some of the topics are really advanced topics that as beginners, we'll just barely be touching the surface of, and then there'll be some topics that are way down at our level that we'll get most of the way through, and the advanced is going to kind of reach down and just take what they can out of it. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is talk about a key. A key is, if you're not familiar with it already, the 7 notes in which a song is played. So for example, in the key of C, we've got C, which is the note that's right below the group of 2. That's a C. And then that's the first note in the scale. Here's the second note in the scale, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th note. So a particular song is only going to use those notes right there. For example, we've got the song that he was just playing before we started. So that's all just white notes. It's using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then starting over again here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I've got a couple terms for you that we need to go over real quick. In any key, the note that we start on, so in the key of C, C is going to be called the tonic. So this is the tonic, and so it's number 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if we were in a different key, like the key of D, if you were going to sit down and the band's like, hey, let's play in D, you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. And they'll start playing. You got to know that you're in the key of D, and that D, this note right here, would be the tonic. But in all the songs that we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be in the key of C, and so this one right here is going to be the tonic, and then we're also going to use the 7. If we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that note right there is called the leading tone. Now, the reason it's called the leading tone is that the leading tone leads to the next note up is, as you can see, also below a group of 2 black notes. So that is back at our tonic. In the key of C, C is the tonic, that's the leading tone. So we've got a tonic and a leading tone, we've got a tonic and a leading tone. So, and then of course down here we've got a tonic and a leading tone. So they're all over the piano, but in the key of C, C is going to be the tonic, and then this one's going to be the leading tone. Those are pretty much the only 2 notes that you're going to need for tonight's lesson. So if you open up your PDF, it should be over on the right, which I don't know which direction is right. Nana, which direction is right? This direction? Am I pointing the right direction? Yep. Yes, all right, go right over there. If you click over there, then you can download the PDF. Don't download the MP3. I'll talk to you later about how to use that. But download the PDF, and then you should see something that looks like this. So this has all the chord numbers, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're just going to be dealing with the 1, the 4, and the 5, but as you can see, there are 7 of them there. And we're going to talk about what different sounds those chords make. So a chord is just going to be 3 notes all in a row. So like here, we've got that one, that one, that one. It's just all in a row, skipping over a note each time. So if we start on the tonic, this is the number 1. We've got 1. The next one over is going to be skipping. The next note that we're going to play is going to be skipping as well from here to here. So those are the three notes that are going to make up our one chord. It's the one chord because it's built off of the one, or the tonic, as we learned earlier. So that's our one chord. So that's one of the options, is that they could be playing a one chord, probably play like a one down here as well. If you're playing a one chord up here, you'll play the number one down here. So this right here, that's the one chord in the key of C. That's one of the 7 chords they might be playing as you're sitting down with your band. Another option is that they're playing the 2 chord, which is this. You just go to the 2, this is 1, 2, every other note. That's the 2. We're probably going to play the 2 down here. So if they had a song and you were listening to it and you go, I think that's a 1 chord, I think that's a 2 chord. Now you don't know how to do that yet, but I'm about to show you. But you sit down and you go, I think that's a 1 chord, I think that's a 2 chord. The way you'd probably play it is something like 1 chord and then 2 chord. So there you go, you're playing along with the band as long as you can listen to it and just tell what chords they're playing. We're going to get there. So we got our 1 chord, we got our 2 chord. The 3 chord is going to be here, built off of the 3. It's 3 and then every other note. And we're going to play a 3 down here in the bass. And then the 4, and then the 5, and then the 6 and the 7. You're not really going to use the 7 at all, but you might use the 6 chord. So we play a 6 chord up here because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then every other note. There you go. There's your 6 chord, and we play a 6 down here. So if they had a song that went 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it would sound really stupid. But here's how it would sound. If you listen to it and you went, oh, that's a 6, and then a 5, and then a 4, and then a 3, and a 2, and I think it ends on a 1, then at that point you know how to play it, and you also know that you should probably switch bands because they're not going to write any successful songs. But anyway, here's how it would sound. It'd go 6 chord, 5 chord, 4 chord, 3 chord, 2 chord, 1 chord. And actually, now that I play it, it doesn't sound that bad. But anyway, so that's kind of the main concept here, is we've got 7 different chords. We need to know what each of those 7 chords sounds like. So once they say, hey, we're in the key of C, ready, set, go, and they start playing, then you know what chords you're supposed to be playing. We're just going to focus on the 1, the 5, and the 4. So again, on our PDF here, if we take a look at chord number 1, the way that you're going to tell that it's chord number 1 is that when you hear it, it's going to feel like that might be the place where you end the song. It's what I call home. It's the place where the song really rests. So let me take my keys out of this. I'm going to play for you something with the 1 chord, and you'll hear how at the end of it, when I get to the 1 chord, it really feels at rest. So it goes something like... hopefully there at the very end you felt like, that's where the whole thing was supposed to be going. So, and that's always going to happen on the 1. Once you get to the 1, it's going to feel like, we could end there, even if it's not the end of the song. So let me play 5 chords for you. I'm going to put the 1 at the beginning and at the end, and then I'm also going to put a 1 in the middle. So you can hear how, even if it's in the middle of a phrase, when we get to the 1 chord, it feels really at rest. So here we go. A 1 chord, and then something else, and then a 1 chord, and then something else, and then a 1 chord. Check this out. So here we go, it's the 1. And then, feels like we could end there, but the song keeps going. And then, there again. So you can tell, like, on that 3rd chord, we could have ended the song right there, and it would have felt like, yes, we landed at home. It would have felt like a really short song, but we could have landed there and it would have been home. So one more time, the 1, and then I'm going to go to the 5, and then back to the 1, and you're going to listen for how it feels like it could end on that 1. So here's the 1 chord, the 5, the 1, but the song keeps going, and it lands again on the 1. Now, here's the trick. If they tell you that you're going to be in the key of C, what you want to do is actually go to C and see if you can sing along with this, because singing is going to be huge to listening and being able to play the chords and telling what they are. So if you can sing the 1 and the chord feels like it's at home, they're on a 1 chord, it's time for you to play the 1 chord. So it's time for you to do that thing right there. If you can sing that note right there, la, you can sing it and it sounds like it's at home. So if you can at home, and if there's no one else around, then go ahead and try to sing that note right there. La, or, don't try to sing that one. Sing this one here. And hang on to that note, and just try to hang on to it. You'll be able to hang on to it for the first 2 chords. the first one is not going to feel like it's the place where we're going to end the song. The second one is going to feel like it's the place where we want to end the song. So we sing that note, la, and let me play something. Let me switch your screen. So we're trying to sing that note right there, la, and we're going to go, la. That's not where we would want to end the song, but we can sing that note, and then you can still sing that note there, that one, so you can sing the one and it feels like it's home. So sometimes you can sing the one, but it doesn't quite feel like it's at home. But when you can sing the one and it feels like home, you're on the one chord. It's time for you to do that thing that we did earlier with the one chord here and the one down here. So that's one of the 3 chords we're going to be listening for tonight. The next one that we want to talk about is the 5. So on the 5, we go all the way down in our PDF. You can see that we can sing the 7, but we can't sing the 1 when we're on the 5 chord. So if you're trying to hang on to that one note right there, and you're trying to sing it, and I go to the 5 chord, you're kind of forced to move from that one down to that leading tone, or that 7. So anytime you're singing that 1, or you're trying to hang on to that 1, and you really feel like you're being pushed down to that 7, that's going to be the 5 chord. So at that point, you want to go from the 1 all the way up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the one that you're listening to is the 5 chord. So you're going to play a 5 in the bass down here, your 5 chord up here. So again, try to hang on to this one, and I'm going to go back and forth between a bunch of different chords, and then listen for the one that you're pushed down on. I'll try to give you a visual cue here too. Here we go. Try to hang on to that note right there, sing it in your head, play along if you can on your piano, and see when you're getting pushed down to that leading tone. Here we go. You can still hang on to it right there, right? You can still hang on to it right there. Watch this. So at that point, you can't really sing that one along with it because it doesn't fit inside the chord. So that's going to be the feel of the 5 chord. When we're trying to sing that la and we get forced down to that leading tone, it's probably going to be a 5 chord. So now you know, just by listening, if you know what key we're in, we can go to the 1 of the key. Just by listening, we can tell a 1 chord because we're on the 1 and it feels like home. Then if we get shoved down to that leading tone against our will, we're trying to hang on to the 1, but we just get pushed down, then you know that we're on the 5 chord. So the last one we want to talk about tonight is the 4 chord. Now, the 4 chord's kind of tricky. Let me show you here. You can sing 1 on the 4 chord, and probably the 4 is the one that gets confused most frequently with the 1 chord. So we can sing the 1, and it feels stable, meaning that it doesn't really want to move anywhere like some of the chords do. That 5 chord, when we play that one, we really aren't satisfied until we finally move to that 1 chord, and then we're good. We could stay there all day. That could be the end of the song, right? So the 4 chord has that same stable feeling. It doesn't necessarily want to go anywhere, but we can sing the 1. So here's the 4 chord. If we go from here, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So on this 4 chord, if you're playing along with me, you can see that inside that chord, we have that tonic right there. So we're not going to want to sing the leading tone. We're going to want to sing the tonic. But the 4 chord feels kind of stable, but not quite as much home as if we went right there, because that's going to feel very much home. So the 4 chord, you can sing the 1, but it doesn't quite feel like we've reached the end of the song yet. Now, this is a really common way to end the song, is instead of going to the 1 where everybody feels at rest and at home, is going to the 4 chord, because it's kind of like a substitute for the 1 chord. So we go to the 4 chord at the end of the song, and it feels like we're almost home, and then we finally hit the 1 chord, and then it feels very resolved at that point. So let me play that for you. I'll go to this screen here. So I'm gonna play. I'm gonna go to where you think the end of the song should be. Only I'm gonna play the 4 chord instead of the 1 chord, and I'm gonna go to the 1 chord. You're gonna hear how that works. So here we go. And that's our 1 chord. So you could hear at the end of that, you were really expecting to go to that chord, but instead I went to that chord, and then there. In fact, this is so common. It was used a lot, like on church hymns and stuff like that. So this is the technical name for it is a plagal cadence when you go from the 4 chord to the 1 chord. But the kind of informal name for it is the amen ending, because you hear it in, like, well, if I play it for you this way. And then they would all sing amen. So when you hear that at the end of the song, that's called the amen ending, or the amen cadence, or plagal cadence, or more importantly to you, we're going from a 4 chord down to a 1 chord. So there are the characteristics for 3 of the chords. We've got the 1 chord where we can sing the 1 and it feels like home. We've got the 5 chord where we're pushed down to that leading tone, and then we've got the 4 chord where we can sing 1, but it doesn't quite feel like it's home yet. So I'm going to play a song for you, and then you're going to try to hang on to that 1 right there. You can play it, you can sing it, or do both. And then when you think you're being pushed down to the 7, you know we're on the 5 chord. If you can sing it but it doesn't feel like home, then you know that we're on the 4 chord. And then the 1, of course, is the ending, hopefully. So let me play that for you. Take a look at your PDF. And here we go. I'm going to play the song. You're just going to try to follow along, maybe write down your answers so that I can tell you at the end whether you got them right or not. Good luck. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to pretend that that was the band playing and you were listening to it and you were trying to follow along, hanging on to that 1. The first chord that you heard should have been a 1 chord. So that one right there feels like home. Now after that, we went to the 4 chord, which you could still sing that 1, but it felt like it was away from home. Then we went to the 1 chord because it was home. And then we went to the 5 chord. So hopefully you're pushed down to that leading tone. Then after that we had the 1 chord, felt like we could end the song right there. And then we had the 4 chord, still singing the 1, but it's away from home. Pushed down to the leading tone, so the 5 chord, and then we ended with the 1. Let me play it for you one more time, and you listen for that same thing. Here we go. So we've got 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord, 1 chord, 4 chord, 5 chord. So here's what you need to do. Real quick, before I go into the MP3, if you've got questions about the lesson so far, that's pretty much the whole lesson. If you got questions about that, then go down right below the screen that I'm in right now is a thing that says Ask Jamie your questions or whatever. Type your first name and your question into that box, and Nano, my moderator, will send me the questions, and we'll get all of your questions answered. In the meantime, I want to tell you about the MP3. If you go all the way down to the bottom of your PDF, I stole a page from the Highlights for Kids playbook here and gave you all the answers to the play along upside down on your PDF. So don't look at those yet, don't memorize them. What you need to do is listen to your MP3 and try to write down all the chords that you hear, whether it's the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord. It starts out with pretty much just 1s, 5s, and 4s. So listen for it. It's all in the key of C, so we can still go off that C right there. You already know what key we're going to be in. That's the tonic. You want to listen for, am I being pushed down to the leading tone, or can I stay on that tonic, and does it feel like home, or does it feel like it's away from home? Your homework for this month is to send me a video of you playing one song that you transcribed. Now let me give you a couple examples of some songs that would be really great for you using this concept. Do you know this song right here? This one's in the key of C, and it uses almost exclusively 1s, 4s, and 5s. So we can listen. So that's a 5 chord. This 4 chord, that feels like home. 5 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. So that one right there is in the key of C. It's already ready for you, and it's all pretty much 1s, 5s, and 4s. There's a 6 in there too, but you can get it almost completely right by just using 1s, 4s, and 5s. Here's another one that I'm sure you've heard. Not the intro. Don't try to transcribe the intro. It's insane. But this one's going to be in the key of C as well. So here's our home. Hopefully that makes sense how you transcribe that. So we're listening for are we home, away from home, and do we need to be pushed down to the leading tone. Let me show you one more. Man, I got a whole list of them here. This one right here, I believe is in the key of C.
Some nights I stay up, cashing in my bad luck.
4, 1, 5, 1.
Some nights I wish that my life could build a castle. Some nights I wish they just fall.
5.
But I still wake up.
So hopefully that's making a little bit of sense of how you need to listen for your tonic and your leading tone, and then are we home or away from home to catch whether it's the 1, the 4, or the 5. So now it's time for your questions. Nano, what do you got for us?
Nate wants to know, are you going to cover the other chords tomorrow night?
Yeah, absolutely. So that PDF is always written every week. Let me show you here. Always written every week for all the beginning, the intermediate, and the advanced lessons. So if you want to, if tonight felt like a breeze and you're feeling good about it, then tune in tomorrow. We're going to go over the 6, the 2, and I believe the 3. And then Wednesday's going to get crazy because we're going to talk about changing keys and how to listen for secondary dominants and all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff. But yeah, we'll definitely hit at least the 6 and the 2, and I believe the 3 if you tune in tomorrow night for the intermediate lesson. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Next question.
Susan M. wants to know, what are the technical names of the other notes in the scale?
All right. Let's see here. We've got the, you need to see my keys here. We've got the tonic. We've got the leading tone. There are 6 more of these things. This one right here, the number 2, the technical name is the supertonic. This one is the mediant. This one is called the dominant. And this one here is called the submediant. I'm sorry. This is the dominant. This is the subdominant. So sub is like right below the dominant. So we have the dominant and the subdominant. The submediant is right here, and the leading tone is right there. You're almost never going to have to use those names, though. Pretty much, they're going to call them either like a C chord or a D chord or an E chord or an F chord. Or if you get really lucky, they're going to call it C major or D minor or E minor. Or really advanced, like the next step is they're going to call it the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord, the 4 chord. And if anyone calls it like the subdominant or the dominant or the submediant, then they're just trying to be pretentious. So you should probably find another band. So I think that's about it. Next question.
That's it for tonight.
All right, cool. So like I said, join us tomorrow night for the intermediate version of this lesson if you felt like that was way too simple. If you felt like that was way too complicated, that's all right. Just next week, join us. We're going to be talking about an entirely new topic, so you won't have to have already listened to any of this or anything. We're going to be talking about common chord progressions. So this has to do with like how to write your own songs and also how to like predict what a song is going to be, what chords are going to be played. For example, if we have like a 2 chord, and then after that is a 5 chord, in almost every single case, after a 2 chord and then a 5 chord, every band's going to want to go to the 1 chord. So we're going to talk about how to predict the upcoming chords and stuff like that and how to play along with them a little bit more than just playing the triads with the 1 note in the bass like we talked about tonight. So anyway, that's what's coming up. If you got any other questions, then go ahead and email me at admin, ADMIN, @LearnPianoLive. Thanks a lot for joining us. I'll see you either tomorrow or next week. Bye.